Good morning again, and welcome to Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent, a time in our church's rhythm or life when we take time to stop and to think and to meditate and to listen and to be aware of what's going on in ourselves, in our world around us, and what might God be saying to us. It's following the example of Jesus, who after his baptism, when he became aware that he was a beloved Son of God, and being aware that he had received the fullness of the Spirit, went into the desert to think, to listen, to pray, and to discern what God wanted for him. And after that time, he went back into Galilee and began his mission. The other thing I'm not going to comment on this morning is the children's games in the White House, the bullying that went on. It's caused a lot of concern, and it caused a lot of concern, I think, in all of us. And we just ask for God's blessing for a solution to that nonsense. Today's text is actually from yesterday, not today, when Peter, God bless him, says to Jesus, "Hey, what about us? We've given up everything to follow you." And Jesus makes the promise. He said, listen, he said, anybody who gives up family, home, land, job, for my sake and for the sake of the gospel, will receive 100-fold in family, homes, land, jobs, etc. And also, those who are last will be first, and the first will be last. It's a rather full text. And what I want to do today, in the light of that text, is share with you some good news. And it came to me at a dinner last Friday night of the Jesuit Social Services. And one of the other diners there shared with me his story. We'll call him Joe. Joe was a recruiter for the Hawthorn Football Club about 30 years ago. And the council came to the club, the local council, and said, "Can you help us make footy available to handicapped or disabled kids, special needs kids?" And they, knowing that Joe in earlier life had trained as a teacher for special needs kids, requested he take on the job. And he did. And he gave him his whole self to it. And today, he has some 900 disabled, handicapped, special needs kids in the city and throughout the state playing football. And he has some 2,000 helpers and parents who enable them to do this. And just listening to Joe and speaking with him and watching him, he has indeed received his 100-fold too. Now I know he didn't do it for that, but he's received it. He is so full of life and joy and peace. The other fellow we'll call Max. And Max has been commissioned to do a 3-year study survey of how we might respond or support first offenders or kids and adults who are at risk. And he is so full of joy and enthusiasm for this project. And with both of them, the text that comes to mind so well is the last will be first. And I suppose missionaries have the same sort of experience. I did anyhow. When I headed off on intercultural mission overseas, I thought that I was giving up everything, only to get there and find out I also received 100-fold. So let's take this time in Lent to reflect and to listen and to see how the Lord is inviting us to life. And one of those ways is giving life to others. The life we give away is the life we will receive. Okay? Have a great Easter, a great Lent. Avail of the opportunity and the time. And let's also, in this time, pray for one another. God bless. See you next week.